My dear brothers and sisters, today's readings call us to reflect on the nourishment we need, not just for our physical bodies, but for our souls. In the first reading from 1 Kings, we encounter the prophet Elijah in a moment of deep despair. Fleeing from the wrath of Queen Jezebel, Elijah collapses under a broom tree, praying for death. But the Lord does not abandon him. Instead, an angel appears and provides Elijah with nourishing bread and water, strengthening him for the journey ahead. This supernatural sustenance is a reminder that when we are weary and feeling hopeless, God will meet our needs and renew our strength. The psalmist echoes this theme of God's providential care, declaring, "Taste and see the goodness of the Lord." The Lord is described as a shepherd who guides and protects his flock, satisfying their deepest longings. When we take refuge in God, we can find the courage to face our trials and the peace that surpasses all understanding. In the second reading from Ephesians, Paul exhorts the believers to live in love, following the example of Christ, who gave himself up for us as a fragrant offering and sacrifice to God. This call to love one another mirrors the self-giving love of God, who nourishes and sustains us through the gift of his Son. Finally, in the Gospel of John, we hear Jesus declare, "I am the living bread that came down from heaven. Whoever eats this bread will live forever." Just as the Israelites in the wilderness were sustained by the manna from heaven, so too are we nourished by the very presence of Christ, the bread of life. By feeding on him, we are strengthened and transformed, receiving the life-giving grace that allows us to persevere in our journey of faith. My brothers and sisters, these readings remind us that our deepest hungers can only be satisfied by the Lord. Whether we are weary and despairing like Elijah, or simply longing for a deeper sense of God's presence in our lives, the Lord is ready to provide the nourishment we need. Let us heed the psalmist's call to taste and see the goodness of the Lord. Let us draw near to Christ, the living bread, and allow him to fill us with his transformative love. And may we, in turn, be empowered to live in love, becoming a fragrant offering to God and a source of nourishment for all who hunger for the true and lasting sustenance that only he can provide.